Dear students, today we discuss about the mushroom. Mushroom, if we see as pathological aspects, it is a edible fungus, and this is a basidiocarp form of the fungus, and it is a microfungus which can be seen by the naked eyes and these basidiocarps, which are known as mushrooms, has been cultivated from the ancient times because of their delectable food values. Being rich in protein, mushrooms can be exploited as non-traditional food resource to meet the threat of the malnutrition in terms of the protein deficiency, which is generally found in the poor peoples, which remain a major health hazards in developing countries, including India. Since the nutritional value of mushroom lies between the meat and vegetables, they can be rich addition in the form of proteins, valuable salts, and vitamins to the dietary of the Indian who are largely vegetarians. Because vegetarians have the other sources pulses, so it will be a supplement to that. Mushroom provides a higher protein and low calorie diets, which can be preferential diet to the heart patients. Similarly, mushrooms protein consists of various amino acids required by a person and adults. For example, tryptophan and lysines are present in higher concentration as compared to cysteine and methionine. These amino acids are generally absent in the vegetables. So, for the vegetarians, it is a very good source of these amino acids. The digestibility of mushrooms protein has been reported to be as high as 72% to 83%, according to Lentigel. Mushrooms are most appetizing of the table delicacy and add a flavor in food. Therefore, the mushroom powders is being used uh, for preparation of many delicious dishes like pizza, curry, pakora, soups. The fresh mushroom can also use for some of these purpose. If we look, more than 2000 species of fungi are reported edible throughout the world and about 200 belonging to 70 genera which are reported from India. Out of these, about 80 distinct edible varieties are sold in various countries. Presently, three mushrooms, namely Agaricus biporus, which is also known as white button mushroom, plerotus species, which is known as oyster mushrooms, and Volvera volvicea, which is known as tropical mushrooms, are under commercial cultivation in India. Here we discuss oysters in slight detail because we are going to cultivate and produce spawn and technology in our course for the fourth year students. So, dear students, the oyster mushrooms, which is also called as dingri or abalone, now ranks second among the important cultivated mushrooms in the world because of the tongue shape, pileus, with a eccentric lateral stripe. This mushroom has been named as oyster mushroom. So why this is called as oyster? The reason behind it is this: its tongue shape and the eccentric lateral stripes. This is the identification marks. Unlike other mushrooms, species of this genre show much diversity in their adaptation to the varying agroclimatic conditions. This flexible nature of the genus gives it more cultivated species than any other mushrooms. Plerotus species is mainly cultivated in China, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Philippines, and India. Out of the annual total world mushrooms production, which is around 376,000 tons fresh weight, the production of Plerotus species is around 9,000 tons. The cultivation of Lotus species started first by the beginning of 19th century on tree stumps. Initially, it was grown on the tree stems as it is reported by the Falk in 1917. The techniques was further refined by the Block et al. In 1958 using the sawdust. They used a mixture of oatmeals and sawdust for the cultivation of Lotus cultivation was first standardized in India by Bano and Srivastava. Bano and Srivastava were the scientists who standardized the cultivation of these oyster mushrooms on sawdust in India in the year 1962. While working with the Pleuratus flagellatus on pedestra, later on Pleuratus ajorkaju has gained commercial importance when Jandek and Kapoor found banana pseudostems and chopped paddy straw suitable for its cultivation. Similarly, other person Rangaswamy also reported successful cultivation of Lotus Kaju in Tamil Nadu using the different waste material like paddy straw, sawdust, wood saving. On the basis of these research, further others substrates, straw like or the agro wastes were being tested, and it is found that this mushroom can be cultivated on all type of substrate except they should not having acidic and basic nature, or the straw's pH should be normal. Mushroom cultivation is gaining commercial importance in recent years due to the fact that the global demand for protein will be double, uh, and it will not be possible to satisfy this requirement by only conventional agriculture methods. Therefore, in India, mushroom cultivation has great potential due to favorable weather conditions, abundance of cheaper products like straw, leaves, and stalk of different field crops such as maize, oat, wheat, paddy, bajra, banana, etc., as well as the cheaper availability in comparison to other country of the labor. Nowadays, some mushrooms cultivation has been adopted by the progressive farm as a cottage industry, which not only provides them an additional source of income but also they recycle the farm product which was sold by them at much low cost, because on this substrate they can cultivate or grow mushrooms, and after growing the remaining decomposed material they can mix into the field and which can be used as the organic manure. So you can see the stumps and straw bundles remain after harvesting of the mushrooms uh, are the good source of the compost manure. Visually, the sporophores or fruiting bodies of an oyster mushrooms have three distinct parts. If we see a oyster mushrooms, it is having three parts mainly: fleshy cells or spatula-shaped pelias. Number one is the pelias, short or long central or lateral stalk, which is called stipe, and long ridges and furrows called gills present on the underside of the pelias. On the basis of this, we can identify these mushrooms, and it is generally suggested that the overaged mushroom should not be used for food practices. The detailed taxonomic characters have been discussed for the classification of Plerotus by the Singer. If we see the mushrooms characteristics mainly, so there are many mushrooms and their characteristics are as follows. Number one, Leputri. This is a type species. Uh, Internal tissues of the gills is in thin walled at first and becoming sclerified with age and well present. This is, group's plerotus species reported is known as Yayoi. This is the identical species belongs to this group is plerotus corticatus. Second is the plerotus type species, which are non plerotus ostratus. Internal tissues of gills is clarified early and gill age. The cape is generally colored, no veil present. Species reported as cultivated is Pleurtus ostratus. It was reported by the Kurzban in 1979. Calai patrati type species. The identical species belongs to this group is the Pleurtus calyptritis. Well is very thin, not completely covering cap, very short stem, internal tissues of gills irregular, and many hypes are thick walls. Lantodalium type of species. Panus concavus is the identical species, is older specimen primarily formed by thick walled hypae capped with a flush of cinnamon brown buff or rust color or with no pigment veil and very high annulus may be present. Sclerotia not occurring. Species reported as cultivated is Pleurotus sajur kaju. Belong to this group. Is it like that? Tuber reginum type species. Pleurotus tuber reginum is identical species. It produces very large sclerotium. The other species reported to this group is Pleuratus tuberregium. It is reported by OSO. These are the some types of groups which are found according to that. Here we discuss the Pleuratus ostratus, which is commonly cultivated in Rajasthan or with many varieties of this. uh, if we see the characteristics of this, Plutus it usually grows in cluster. The cape is 6 to 15 centimeter in diameter, gray to gray brown in color, spatula or tongue shape with raised margin having depression near the stalk. The stalk is thick, fleshy, short and minutely hairy, attached on one side of the cap. The gills are long, white, and crowded. They run down on the stalk and anastomos. Spores are colorless, 7 to 10 micrometer long and smooth. Fruits bodies become yellowish brown on drying. It has two types of strain or variety. One grows at low temperature while the other in temperature tolerant. Some species of Pleurotus are Pleurotus flabellatus, Pleurotus sapidus, Pleurotus eos, Pleurotus sajorkaju, Pleurotus florida, Pleurotus erangi, Pleurotus fossulatus. These can be cultivated on straw. Further, its multiplication, cultivation, spawn protections, etc. we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.